Oh, I can remember celebrating. Oh, yes.
Throughout the world, throngs of people hailed the end of the war in Europe.
It's the 75th anniversary of VE Day. We had planned to celebrate this momentous event with the Gary Sinise Foundation Soaring Valor trip to New Orleans. Hey, everybody!
Lieutenant Dan!
Something we have done many, many times before, taking members of the greatest generation with us to enjoy the National World War II Museum.
Welcome to the World War II Museum.
It's a magnificent museum built to honor those who served, sacrificed, and saved us from tyranny and fascism so many years ago.
There is a profound moral difference between the use of force for liberation and the use of force for conquest.
Well, we can't do that right now, but we can honor the men and women who were there, experiencing the joy and excitement of victory in Europe on May 8th, 1945.
Oh my, what a day.
Yes, everybody, the war is over. The war is over.
Oh, well, it was pretty liberating.
You thought you could burst out of your skin. You were so exultant, so happy.
There were musicians on the street and the radios were blaring and people were hollering and singing.
A lot of kissing going. Everybody was kissing everybody. It didn't matter.
So I wanted to hear it firsthand, what VE Day was like from one who fought for it and experienced it. Hello, Paul.
Hey, Gary, how are you?
How are you, sir?
I'm dynamite.
You look dynamite.
You do too.
You were a B-24 pilot?
A B-24 pilot. We were the 2nd Air Division, were B-24s. The 1st Air Division were B-17.
That was my Uncle Jack. He used to tell me that as far as the eye could see, in every direction would be nothing but airplanes.
Yeah.
So on VE Day, you were in London?
I was in a 60-hour pass when the Germans surrendered on May 8th. The British went crazy. They turned the lights on for the first time in 6 years. We got into some of the action, I must admit. We were glad we beat the Germans.
Yeah, you got to go home.
Yep.
This VE Day, I just want you to know we're thinking about you. We honor our veterans every single day at the Gary Sinise Foundation, and it's been a privilege to talk to you.
Nice talking to you. Thank you for all your great work.
It's critically important for us not to forget what they did for us. Years of war in Europe, tens of millions lost. And although there was jubilation, there was post-traumatic stress, exhaustion, and an awareness that the war in the Pacific raged on.
I thought, well, this one is over with, but they got to get the war over in Japan. And I was thinking more about that, and fortunately it didn't have to go.
Of the 16 million Americans who served in World War II, we have less than 400,000 still with us today. And so it's important to record their stories, their recollections, their wisdom for future generations.
What this country needs is more patriotism. It's not a question of whether you're a Republican and I'm a Democrat, or I'm a Republican and you're a Democrat. We're all Americans.
At the Gary Sinise Foundation, we have long supported the National World War II Museum's efforts to capture these oral histories.
It carries on the memories of what happened to us for our next generation to understand why it happened and hope it never happens again.
It's important for us to remember that with VE Day came the liberation of POWs and concentration camps.
They heard us coming, and they were skin and bones just standing there holding on to that wire fence. I'll never forget that picture.
When you had 12 nude, starved men crawling to you, Americana, Americana, you come and liberated us. It brought tears. I couldn't talk about it for about 8 years.
I can still see them in my sleep.
And the memory of so many who were not able to celebrate that day, having given the last full measure of devotion to their country.
I mentioned the picture of the Normandy Cemetery, and I say that what we really should remember about World War II is that these men sacrificed all of their futures so that you could have a future.
So as we continue to be inspired by these brave, selfless, ordinary, yet extraordinary men and women, please take a moment to reflect and thank the greatest generation.
Thank you. Thank you.
For leading the way for us today. 75 years ago, victory in Europe, and a debt of gratitude that we will never be able to repay.